Welcome to So and So, brought to you by Bernina, made to create. I'm Meg Goodman, and you're about to enjoy a casual conversation with a special member of the sewist and quilting community. A conversation about how they got started, what inspires them, what excites them, and their connection to this community. Our guest today is Paris Green, a current Bernina Ambassador and one of the principals of the Couture Beauty and Sewing Academy. She also designs for and leads the online site Scarves More by Paris. Born and raised in Dallas, Texas, Paris began sewing at age 4. She became serious about her sewing at age 7 and entered her first sewing competition at 9 years old. She won the Kids Beginner Sewing Division that year. At age 10, she became Bernina's youngest sewing ambassador, and now she shares friendly tutorials via the We All Sew blog. In her spare time, Paris loves to sing and write songs, sketch, make jewelry, and teach other kids how to do the same. She is homeschooled, has 2 brothers, and she is 13 years old. Hi, Paris, and welcome to So and So.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here today. You are officially our youngest guest on this podcast, so welcome to this record-setting day. You started to sew when you were 4 years old. Tell us how you got interested.
Well, when I was around 4, I saw my mom sewing a lot. She loves to sew, and I saw her sewing a lot. So I was like, hey, I want to do that. So I was like, I really, really saw interest in that. So I asked her if she could teach me. And we started with little things. Like I used to make these little fishes for my brother, and I used to throw them, and he used to go get them. So we used to start sewing really small things. And I wanted to mimic what I saw my mom doing in her sewing studio.
Mm-hmm. So what was it about sewing that you thought was fun? Just because mom was doing it?
Yeah, because mom was doing it, and it was like I could make anything on the sewing machine. I can make clothes, and I can make stuffed animals, and that's actually one of my favorite things to make. I love stuffed animals. Um, so I was like, well, if I can make all these things, why not get into it? And it's a fun hobby too. It's a good hobby to have.
For sure. Now, you said you made those little fishes for your brothers. Do you still have those?
No, he's gonna turn I think 11 this year, so he's so grown.
So you love to sew. Why do you like sewing so much?
Well, sewing can be calming. You can make, especially when the time I find it most calming and serious and deep is when I sew things for the less fortunate people that
Mm-hmm.
sit on the curb and need things. That's when it becomes a really deep, sympathetic thing for me,
Mm-hmm.
because it's you're helping them through your hobby.
Well, that makes sense. Now, I understand it was just kind of fun for you to do at age 4, but when you turned 7 years old, you started to take it seriously. What changed?
I just started taking the hobby seriously. I started really, really paying attention to what she was doing and just taking it seriously at age 7.
So then you entered your first sewing competition. You were 9. So take us through the experience of entering and winning your first garment sewing competition in 2019.
Yes, at age 9, I entered my first garment sewing competition in 2019 at the original Sewing and Quilt Expo in Irving, Texas.
Hmm.
And I won first place for the first time in the kids beginners sewing division that year. And it was a great experience. I was really nervous because you have to you get to show off your garment, meaning you get to walk on the runway, and then they say a little bit about you, and then you walk off. But I grew up watching Project Runway, so it was it felt really real. I felt like I was a model, and I'm modeling my own design. So it was really fun. It was really good. I was nervous, but at the end I was really proud. It was I just did that.
What did you make?
I made a dress and a scarf. It was a very, very simple summer dress and a fabric scarf.
So you were talking, Paris, about sewing for the less fortunate, and during COVID, you made 125 masks and you gave them away on the street. What inspired you to do this?
I don't remember what age I was, but a few years back, me and my dad, we were just writing, and there was a less fortunate individual sitting on the curb. And I remember we went to Burger King and we, bought him a little meal. But I remember how great that felt and how it wasn't like we didn't do it because we wanted to like say that we did it. We didn't do it to say we did it. We did it to like just to be an inspiration and to show the love of God, because it was great. It was an experience that I could never forget, and it was something that I always wanted to do, like forever.
Mm-hmm.
So that is definitely something that I will never stop doing.
Well, tell us what it was like to be on the street and giving these to people.
It was a great experience. I think everybody should have that experience. As long as you're not doing it, like for clout and just to say you did it. But if you do it from a positive heart posture, then it makes it worth it. And the it can be dangerous sometimes. So you want to make sure you have like the right protection. Like I have my dad and I call him my bodyguard because he's just like a bodyguard to me. But it is if you decide to do it, it's definitely mandatory to make sure that you have the right protection with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know, it's a great experience. And to see how grateful people are.
Mm-hmm.
And to because you feel it both ways. You feel grateful that you have something they didn't, but then you feel like they feel grateful for you.
Sure. Now, that was such a good experience. You're going to do the same thing this year with scarves, right? So tell us about that.
Yes, so I'm I think somewhere maybe winter, because that's when people need it the most. I don't know my goal yet. I want to do maybe at least 50, 25 to 50
Mm-hmm.
Scarves, and I'm going to go and pass them out just to keep people warm and to be a blessing.
So you've got your work cut out for you. That'll be later this year.
Yeah.
Now you've talked about sewing a bunch of stuff. What are your favorite things to create and sew?
Oh my gosh, I love. Okay, so there are these things called kawaii plushies. Kawaii means cute in Japanese, and I love kawaii plushies so much. Like I love them with a passion. They're basically um cute, like Squish Mellows. Squish Mellows are
Sure,
kind of like
sure.
kawaii plushies,
Mm-hmm.
but I love making those. I love making clothes. I love making clothes. I'm actually supposed to be making a outfit, like pants and a shirt, this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I love making clothes and squishmallows, and I love making little like things that go in your keys.
Mm-hmm.
I made a fabric tissue holder, and those little square tissues. They're kind of small and they come in a little pack. You can usually
Sure.
get them from like CVS. I love making cases for those, so you can put them on your keys.
Ooh, that's a handy thing to have.
Yeah.
Now, in addition to everything that you're doing, you started a company called Scarves More.
Yes.
Tell us about your company.
So Scarves More, I never really planned it. It just kind of, the only way I have to explain it is it just kind of happened. Like God just kind of set it up to happen. I'm actually very deep into it now. And I have a new logo and we redesigned the website and everything. And usually on there right now I'm selling bracelets. There are more things coming soon. Because that's like the more and scarves and more. But I used to sell scarves. I'll probably bring that back around wintertime. Because, that's when it's needed. But right now I'm selling bracelets, and I think what's my website? sandbyparis.square.site. That's my website. Um, so yeah, that's where I sell all my things.
Now, there's a story that I've heard that you actually lost your online presence and had to rebuild the whole thing again. Would you share that story with us?
Yes, that was so devastating. So on Instagram, way before, maybe like last year, the year before, I had somewhere like around 1,000 followers, something like that. And Instagram terminated my account because my account is managed by my mom. She's my mom manager. Um, so they terminated my account because something that was forgot to put on the bio area is that my account is managed by my mom. So they saw this 11, 12, 13 year old girl running an account by herself. And, I was underage then. So they completely terminated the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to start from scratch.
And you had to build all of your followers back
Yeah,
up, right?
I lost all of them. I'm now at 72, but I was at like 1,000 or something like that.
So I want to encourage everybody who's listening to this podcast to go and follow you. How do they tell us right now how we find you so we can go follow you?
You can find me on samby.paris. That's on Instagram.
Okay. All right. Everybody listening today, you go there and you follow Paris.
Yes, it's SAMBY.PARIS.
All right. Well, I wish you luck with that. I think in no time you'll have all of your followers and more. Tell us about the Couture Beauty and Sewing Academy.
The Couture Beauty and Sewing Academy is actually me and my mom's business. So basically, we do classes and we have a membership and everything. We have online course, in-person classes, spring break classes, and summer camps. We also have a little blog, and there you can find from basic stuff to very advanced things. So like um tools and notions, or how to use your machine, and how to sew a pair of pants, like things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Couture Beauty and Sewing Academy.
That's awesome. And you spent a lot of your time doing that with your mom.
Yes, because it's really for adults and children. We don't have like a specific target of audience, but it's for everyone. Anyone can join.
Now, in your free time, we talked about this at the beginning of the show, you like to do a lot of
Yes.
things. You like to sketch, and you like to write and sing songs and make jewelry. What's your favorite thing to do and why?
Oh my goodness, I have so many things I love to do. I love I think my favorite thing ever is I am a Christian. And I think my favorite thing is to study the Bible with my dad, specifically because he is a pastor at our church. And he's very intelligent and wise, and he loves to dwell in the word of God. So like being around him and just having conversations with him is amazing in itself. So that's one of the things that I like to do. Like one of my top favorite things I like to do in my free time.
So, in addition to everything else, you became involved in the BERNINA Ambassador program. So, tell us about that. How did you get involved, and what do you do?
I think it started with this one interview. They asked me to do an interview, and it actually blew up. That's how I became an ambassador. They were like, "Oh my gosh, we love this. We love you. We want you to be an ambassador." So that was how it started, and it's great. I love it.
And as an ambassador, what are some of the things you do for BERNINA?
I do blogs. So one of the blogs I did was a reading pillow, and it's basically kind of like a step-by-step tutorial via pictures, um, and these little descriptions on how to make it.
And how long have you been doing that now?
2 or 3 years.
Wow. That's pretty cool. And you're in the company of many incredible ambassadors.
Yeah.
So that's quite an accomplishment. Now I understand that this July you're going to be hosting a charity event called So Pretty at the Rockin' Bobbin Quilt Shop in Garland, Texas. Tell us about this event. How did you come up with this and what's it going to be like?
Well, So Pretty was supposed to come about years ago, but then quarantine happened, so it just kind of shut the whole thing down. But So Pretty is actually July 27th, um, from 10 a.m. to around 12 p.m., and there's another group from 1 to 3 p.m. And basically, we'll make dresses for less fortunate kids in other countries that can't afford it.
And anybody can attend this.
Yes, and we actually it's partnered with a company called Dress a Girl Around the World. Dress a Girl Around the World.
Ah, okay, Dress a Girl Around the World. And I assume there's a website attached to that, and we'll look for that and put it in our show notes.
Yeah, there will be.
Excellent. Um, Paris, what's important for other kids to know about you?
Hmm. I think that's a good question. I like that. I think one of the most important things is that it wasn't really a planned process. It wasn't like we sat down and we were like, okay, so this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen. I do everything by faith and by Jesus. So everything that came to pass, it literally would not be possible without him. So I don't take credit for anything that has happened or will happen because I will never be able to do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important to also have an adult. Like I used to think, well, just since Jesus is all I need, I can just go and make an Instagram account by myself. Don't do that. You're gonna get in trouble. Don't do that. Do not do that.
Right.
You just talk with your parents about it. Like if you're really confident in it and you want to do what I'm doing, then just please have a conversation with your parents. Don't just go out and create a business and create an Instagram account. It's like you'll always need the support and help of your parents. So don't try and do it alone.
Very wise advice. Now,
Thank you.
so you're talking about kids to know about you. What's important for kids to know about sewing?
Sewing doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. For some people it means therapy. Or for some people they started doing it after losing a loved one. Or in my case, sewing is tags along with business. So don't compare yourself to other sewers. Like if I'm sewing because let's say I want to make a purse and my purses are really cute, you don't have to sew because you want to make purses that are really cute. If you want to make clothes, you can make clothes. Like you don't have to compare yourself to how other people sew, and it's easy. Anyone can do it.
Paris, what's next for you?
I don't know. I honestly don't. I'm just like I said,
Okay.
walking by faith. I want to be I want to be a doctor. So later in the future when I go to college and stuff, um, I want to be a doctor, and it's basically because I like helping people like a lot. Like with all of the scarves and the masks and helping less fortunate, um, I was like, I really enjoy studying medicine. Um, Sometimes school has to come before that, like right now. But I really like studying medicine, and I have two aunts that are nurses. And one of my aunts, she used to give me little riddles and be like, um, little things like which vein would you draw blood from, or what part of the brain helps you think, things like that. Um, but I want to be a nurse and a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't understand what I mean by that. I don't mean at the same time. I mean, like, go to school, then become a nurse, and, be a nurse for a little bit, and then go back to school to become a doctor. Because honestly, I want the experience of both. They're two different things, and I feel like if you have the experience of both, you can give great advice and help other
Mm-hmm.
people.
Sure. Absolutely. That's That's pretty spectacular. Now, I was going to ask you, and you might have a different answer. You might have already answered this for me. What's your dream? Anything in addition to practicing medicine?
Yeah, I want to I think one of the things that I really really want to do is I'm still not sure about this, but when I was younger, I really wanted to be a singer. But there are a lot of things going on in the music industry that I'm just not so sure about anymore. Um and there's just like there's some negative things that just it just doesn't make it worth it anymore. Um so I'm just trying to find other interests like being a doctor and a nurse. That's something like that I really want to do. But I really really like to sing, and I think one of my other dreams is becoming a worship leader cuz my mom was a dancer and she was a dance teacher. And my dad used to travel and play on the keyboard like for churches and drums and everything everywhere. So I'm really like I'm
Hmm.
really embedded in the music. So I want to like write songs and publish them and be a worship leader.
So, we've talked about a lot of things today. Is there any question I didn't ask you that you wish I had?
No, I think you covered everything. This is great.
Excellent. You know, Paris, it has just been so much fun to talk to you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. This was an awesome experience. Thank you so much.
Now, when our listeners would like to reach out to you, remind us again what's the best way for them to get in touch with you.
The best way is samby.paris on Instagram and sambyparis.square.site.
Okay. I'm sure you will be hearing from kids and adults alike. Thank you again, Paris.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Another story about someone just like you. Someone for whom sewing is so much more than a hobby, it's a way of life and a connection to something bigger. If you know someone you think has an outstanding story, a story that should be shared on this podcast, please drop me a note to meg@soandsopodcast.com or complete the form on our website. Be sure to subscribe to, rate, and review this podcast on your favorite platform, and visit our website, soandsopodcast.com, for more information about today's and all of our guests. That's SEWANDSO podcast.com. And finally, I want to thank Bernina for making this program possible. I'm Meg Goodman, and I look forward to you joining us next time on So and So.